Hello and good morning. Today is January 15th, 2026, and you're listening to That's Old News, the daily download making old headlines hot again. I'm your host, Ainsley Harvey, and as always, we're looking at what went down on this day in history, which means we are rewinding it all the way back to England in 1535, where King Henry VIII declares himself head of the church in England. Unable to divorce Catherine of Aragon without papal consent, Henry found the ultimate loophole. You don't need permission from a church that is yours. And as such, he declared himself the supreme head of the Church of England on this day in 1535, which allowed him to legally marry his new mistress, Anne Boleyn. Which leads us nicely into our second jump of the day to Westminster Abbey in 1559, where we find Anne's daughter, Elizabeth I, being crowned Queen of England. That's right, second child of Henry VIII, Elizabeth becomes queen after the death of her stepsister Mary, ushering in a golden period in English history, aka the Elizabethan era. Jumping forward a few hundred years to this day in 1875, where Ibn Saud, founder and first king of Saudi Arabia, was born. A talented leader and diplomat, Ibn Saud unified the Arabian Peninsula, which was previously made up of a vast array of smaller warring states. Through marrying widely to forge alliances and fathering many sons, Ibn was able to establish the modern kingdom of Saudi Arabia, with its current rulers all descending from his lineage. Meanwhile, on this day in 1919, the city of Boston is inundated by the Great Molasses Flood after a storage tank collapsed, sending 2.3 million gallons of molasses through the city streets. Described as a sticky tsunami, the wave traveled down Commercial Street, crushing buildings, derailing an elevated train, injuring 150 people and claiming a total of 21 lives. Jumping forward to this day in 1929, and we have MLK Jr., American clergyman and leader of the civil rights movement, being born in Atlanta, Georgia. One of the most iconic figures of the 20th century, Martin Luther King Jr. won the 1964 Nobel Peace Prize for his nonviolent resistance against racial prejudice, making him the youngest ever recipient at 35 years old. Today is also the day that Estee Mensah married businessman Joseph Lauder. The two divorced in 1939 after a turbulent start to their union, but remarried again in 1942, starting a partnership which went global when they founded Estee Lauder in 1946. Meanwhile, this day in 1947 is an infamous one amongst enthusiasts of the crime genre, with the corpse of aspiring actress Elizabeth Short found. Dubbed the Black Dahlia, her murder is one of the most famous unsolved mysteries of all time, with no arrest being made despite a massive investigation. Fast forwarding to 2009, and US Airways Flight 1549, piloted by Captain Sullenberger III, lands in the Hudson River. Sustaining damage after a flock of Canada geese flew into the plane's engines, the crew managed to make a successful water landing, offboarding all passengers with not a single casualty from the 155-person flight. And that's old news from this day in history. I'm Ainsley Harvey, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.